Let's return to that earlier story, the SABC issuing notification of possible job cuts in terms of Section 189 of the Labour Relations Act. And we're joined by the President of Union Bemawu, Hannes Boysen. And Mr. Boysen, so you had written, I understand, to the CEO of the SABC after that Sunday World article. I guess you got your answer. Today, the SABC is indeed looking at substantial job cuts.
Yes, we questioned, number one, the fact that a confidential presentation that was not distributed to us as the representatives of staff members has landed up in the media, and that has been reported on. We did, in fact, receive a reply to that particular letter from the CEO, simply saying that he's not going to respond to the allegations. And then shortly thereafter, we were served with the Section 189 notice.
All right. And Bemawu's take on this? I mean, the SABC has been talking about a need to restructure for years. There has been a sense after the latest bailout that there's not going to be much more state funds coming. Something has to be done. Did you see this coming?
Well, we really thought that the new management will be able to turn the SABC around. We were quite shocked when we received the notice, first of all, and more shocked when we saw the reasons that has been forwarded by the SABC for the reasons. Those are all issues like advertisers that move to online video and that the SABC does not have a presence there, inefficient business processes, outdated pricing models. Those are things that have been decided by management of the SABC, not employees. So we thought that within the 3 years and with all of the money that the SABC has received, they would be able to turn the SABC around and put it strategically on a road where it would be able to compete, first of all, in the advertising industry, but also to sustain jobs and to grow as a public broadcaster. Instead, we are seeing that there is an intention to shrink the SABC with more or less 600 employees. So, yeah, it is. We feel sorry for those employees that, given the situation that the country is currently in, the world is, that people are faced with losing their jobs under these circumstances.
Do you, however, accept that perhaps the headcount is too high at the SABC? The stats coming out, the SABC spends more on salaries than on content, the thing that it attracts viewers and attracts advertisers?
Well, isn't it the job of management to ensure that you increase the revenue to balance out the staff costs? Additionally to that, last week still the SABC appointed very senior people from outside the organization on quite huge salary packages. That's not the conduct of an organization that has an excess of headcount. Remember, we also, in the previous process, we asked the SABC to provide us with the excess staff, and we've not received that information from the SABC. So, of course, any organization has the right to right scale itself, but there should be scientific evidence that would accompany such a process, and that is missing at this point in time.
Okay, so without that evidence, will you be opposing therefore any job cuts, or are you looking at a certain size at which it becomes untenable for you as the union?
We will not. We will obviously oppose any job cuts without scientific evidence. If we find evidence, if the SABC are able to provide us with evidence in terms of people that's no longer necessary at the SABC, then that is something that we must accept. But at this point in time, we do not accept that there are an excess of staff at the SABC, particularly because the SABC has not stopped recruiting people at the SABC and appointing people.
All right, and the SABC said it could not avail anyone for an interview at this stage. It would say when it was available. That was Bemawu President Hannes Boysen. We take a short break.